Welcome back to the Old Oak. It has been a 2-month hiatus, but things have been moving. Now I'm going to share them with you. This is the 4th installment of the swap that is not an engine swap. It is a everything except body panels and axle swap. Oh joy. I wasn't sure how to get this thing down to the garage, but then I remembered. I have a tractor, and all things are possible through the orange Kubota. Problem here is the steering keeps coming disconnected because it's kind of ad hoc together as I'm putting steering in as well. We got it done. Gotta get that turbo off. I have a nice little special treat for the 7.3, newer, bigger turbo baby. Now I crushed that oil pan pretty good when I pulled this engine out, and that's because it's pretty much rusted through anyway. Bottom looks pretty good, not that I know what I'm saying. Brand new oil pan, look how shiny it is. Tons of RTV on there, should be good to go. I actually ended up putting the transmission, you'll see here, under the truck first. I just wanted to get it prepped and laid out because I had to jack the truck up to get it under there, so I figured it'd be easier without the engine in there. I don't know if I had another reason for putting it in first as well. I don't know. Ratchet straps to the rescue every day of my life, baby. Okay, the moment of truth. I feel like I should change the music right here, but I'm feeling this track. Yeah, the 1,000 pounds of iron ore rolling across the concrete, not easy. Feels like it's a climax of the project to put the engine in the truck. However, it's really kind of the simplest part, other than it just being heavy and you're scared of your fingers getting pinched. Doing this by yourself, I'm just dancing around. So many things to keep an eye on. Watch your fingers, Josh. Watch your fingers. Well, we got the weight on the suspension and it didn't bottom out, so that's good. At this point, we actually just have an angle. It's leaning back too much, and I have one stud that won't go in from the engine mount that won't go in. And I'm losing my patience and realizing sometimes you just got to be mean to it. In fact, I think I say that on camera here in a second.
Just be mean to it, Josh. Come on. Just be mean to it now.
There.
Man. It's the next day. Got some rest. I lost my mind. 2 a.m. getting that engine in. But now, this is what you do to... Wait. Oh, what? This is what you do to get your transmission in. Your ratchet strap it in.
Alright, you might have noticed when I was putting the engine in that the torque converter was attached to the engine. And I wanted to hook everything up to the engine, and I took it off. I have the torque converter in the transmission here, so I did it right. I didn't film that part. But it didn't go in too bad with my old transmission jack dolly stacks of plywood thing.
This has to be on top of the frame. It's super annoying. I don't enjoy this design, but it is what it is. Whew. See, you got the 2 bolts, but then you have this little mechanism where this bolt holds onto this bolt. They're best friends, and they like, hey, don't spin. I won't spin if you won't spin. This sucks.
All right. The scrapyard gods were good to me. This is a brand new turbo out of the one of the 7.3 Super Duties that I pulled a lot of parts out of. I think it's supposed to spool up a bit faster, and it doesn't have that back plate to the exhaust, so it's a 4-inch exhaust down. Ooh, that'll be fun. We got the turbo in and the intake. Now I had to go back and redo the filter drain. Oh, that was exhausting. Bending over backwards. But now we're gonna come in here. We got the drain lines We got the fuel lines right here. I actually had to cut those. Down here they're so rusted, so we're gonna go ahead and put new fuel lines on and try to essentially I just gotta snake them through. And hopefully they don't make me cuss too much, but we'll see. No promises. Yeah, these fuel lines going around the engine up to the filter housing, they rust out at the bottom. You see any truck over 300,000, 200,000 miles, they're gonna be rusted connectors down there. Whew. All right, I gotta get that bed off the red rusted out truck. I already burned out the bed around the bolts because the bolts are just frozen solid. So now we're just gonna dig into it with the teeth of the tractor and just rip it right off. We'll see what happens. I have no idea if it'll just come off, but here, I'll let you watch. Well, if you are thinking, Josh, just take those bolts out of the bed, well, I tried, friend. I broke off both of my star bits that I had that were that size. What are they, T55s, T50s? I forget. It was a minute ago. Regardless, I had to hammer this sucker out, grind it out, just kind of take the bed out and leave the bolt in the frame. It was disgusting. Tell me you haven't wanted to do this with a truck, though, or a vehicle. Just smash it with a piece of heavy equipment. It's sad and satisfying at the same time. I get it, Whistling Diesel. I get it. Oh, yeah. I have to give an update. I've just been diving in to getting the rest of this truck lined up. We got the fuel tank out of the diesel. And then here's what the frame wiring harness looks like. The bottom is the extended cab long bed diesel 7.3 harness. Look how much longer that is. 5.4 quad cab short bed on the top. Now, it's because these ones they snap in under the driver's side, and the diesels. So here would be the driver's side seat. This is where there's a harness connector, and the diesels actually go all the way up into the engine bay. There's no connection. There's no connection for the diesels under the driver's seat like in the gas. And with this body style, there might be a difference in the body styles too. Just extended cab and quad cab. Anyway, so that'll be good. And then we'll just start in the engine bay. We're just matching the diesel, and the frames are so similar. So we'll have fuel line. So that's just really the sending unit, the receiver, the fuel tank measurement, the gauge rather. So there's no pump in the diesel. Look at that rat's nest. And then rear ABS. They're just a little different. So the gap here, let me just see here. Let me get them all lined up. Okay, so we got fuel line, rear ABS. Oh, that's the same. And then these are the same. Good. And then so it's really just the front part, because this comes all the way up into the engine bay. Okay. So let's run that real quick before we get the fuel line in. And then we'll get the fuel line, and then we'll get the fuel tank. Okay, here's the fuel lines laid out. Top is diesel. And you can see here the gas is just a little bit smaller. Am I right with saying that? No, I think I'm wrong. The diesel's on top, and it should be good. Should be very similar. We might have to nip and tuck some stuff here, but
All right, into the abyss of the fuel tank. We got it all cleaned out. Woohoo! So you can see here, I had the gas has a little plastic on the bottom here, and you have to remove that. And it's not, doesn't have any fasteners. It is glued in through a piece of plastic, probably. I'm not quite sure how it's held in there. So I actually took a oscillating tool and ground it flush, and then I sanded it, and then I cleaned it all out, got all the plastic dust out of there. And so the big thing here is you got 38-gallon tank for the long beds, 29-gallon tank for the short beds. I believe that's what they are. You can't fit. You could fit the long bed tank in the frame here. It's just that on the crew cab short bed, you're gonna have the rear of the cab cross member that is right at your filler spout, because you got filler spout sitting at the very back of the short bed tank, and it's middle front of the long bed tank. So I was under there pushing this one up. I would love to get that 10 gallons. Would love to get that extra 10, and I just couldn't fit it. So, and if you've probably, maybe there's a number of you that have tried that before as well, and you could get creative with plumbing, but it's just not made. It's too tight. So, yeah. So what you want to do, when I was in there, we did the old the vent cut. So I came in here and I cut the tubes. It's the hutch and hot. There's a mod, I'll put it in the description, where you can cut the vent tubes and filler tube, and that'll get you, and then you block the vents, and then that'll give you a couple extra gallons of filling it right to the rim. And actually you can get over 30 gallons in there, and it fills faster the last 5 minutes. It's not fighting against the vent and bubbling up. If you know how these diesel tanks, they slow down and bubble up, and you just get foam and foam and foam. So it takes care of that. And then when it came to the actual filler, or the actual sending unit, we did kind of a hodgepodge here. Remember, the 38-gallon tank is deeper. I think it's like 16 to 18 at parts. I think 16 where this goes in, and this is only 13 and a half, 14, the 29-gallon tank. So they're different for diesel and gas. So anyway, here's the 38-gallon tank sending unit, where I had to, I think I filmed some of this. I had to shorten this to come up. So I measured from the lip of here down. I had to I had to rebend the float. So when it's at full draw here, nothing like a diesel sending unit right next to your coffee. Who needs creamer? So, oh yeah, thank you. Bloop, bloop. So you want that full draw right there. You see, right there. So you just do a touch and go. Then you pick up, you're measuring from the lip down here, and we're able to take off the strainer, and we'll put in, clean those out. But then we can't fit those in now. We can't fit these in and get this in, because this will max out right here, and then this can't fit under it and be over 13 and a half. And so a lot of people actually take this out and they put in a third-party strainer on the frame rail, and or they'll take it out, and you just don't want material in your pump. So we got the tank very clean. There's not a speck in there, and then we're just gonna run it straight. We're gonna run it straight up. So this is sitting here. This foot is sitting nice and pretty at 13 and a half. And so it'll be just off the bottom, be able to suck up every little bit of fuel. And then, so I got to fish out the vent. That came out on this guy. GoPro's so dumb when it does this. Look at that. I try to do that, but then I gotta go sideways on accident. It like flips it. What the heck, man? Just that linear cinematic shot. So dumb. And then here's the return. So here's one of that mods as well. Man, is I want to say the hooch, but I don't think that's it. So here's what I use. Just use a PVC cutter for the vent ones. That's all you need is thin PVC. There's the vents. I filmed that. Then we got that over there. And then you got your return line. Is what you're doing is you're trying to get this away, because what that does from factory is it returns right here. And there's a tube here, and it returns really right to where the pickup is. And there's bubbles, and people do this, and then they send it and have a compression fitting here. It's a 5/16 compression fitting. The return's 5/16, remember, and the sending is 3/8. So your return comes out, and it's just got to get it away. So you're getting away, and you don't want it to interfere with your float. So mine is just kind of I just kind of bent it. I don't have a good bender without. Normally people make a Z. You buy the kits, but I just kind of bent it ad hoc there, and I just had this extra fuel line because I have just so much from both vehicles. I just have a bunch of extra stuff. So I did the 5/16 off to the side here. So when the fuel comes back, it'll go through and it'll be sending it out into the tank. And you don't want it to send it down. You don't want it to be stirring up. You don't want it to stir up your bottom of your tank. That'll get that sediment all mixed in. If there's sediment that gets in from all those fuel stations, you want that to you want that to stay at the bottom. You know, for the life of your vehicle. I mean, you don't really want to have that stirred up all the time, and so you want that returning fuel to not be like blowing at the bottom. So mine comes and then it kind of kicks up, so it'll always just have that flow will be coming, and not disturb the bottom of the tank. Okay, so that's really the thing. We're going to drop it in here. We're about there, and we're going to see how it fits. And yeah, I'm excited to get this part over with. I hate smelling like gas and diesel. I'd rather I've been smelling like diesel and grease this whole time. Now I just threw in old gas this last couple days. So this project cannot be over soon enough.
Old Pop's made a little cameo here. Remember, we're switching this to a diesel truck, so we need that controller, which is in the fender there. You can reach up and take it out from underneath, but we just took the fender off. Made it easy on ourselves. All right, I'm running out of time for the truck to be taking up this much room in the garage. So we're gonna bleed the brakes. We're gonna get them tight so that I can roll this thing backwards and be able to do something else. Get it topped off. Oh man, I haven't been under here in a minute. Oh yeah, super full. Starting to drip here. Let's try to clean this out real quick. Pumps. The brake pedal, pushed it right down. Nice. Driver's side, rear. Let's see if we can get some pressure built up. Vacuum built up, rather. This is slow going here. All right, now. Time to pull this girl out of the garage. Sadly, not the way I wanted to pull her out, but well, we haven't given up on the old girl yet. Now this project is spaced between a lot of days, a lot of weeks. So we pulled it out. We had to do some woodworking stuff, get some tools set up in the garage, but stay with me. She will run. I do love that tractor. Yeah, that dent's more obvious than I remember. Make sure to subscribe. You're gonna want to hear this thing fire up. I guarantee it. All right, have the garage back now.